Welcome back to the Sports Source, the segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. Whether you're a major contractor doing a huge work, building a hospital, building an apartment complex, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer looking to start a home improvement project, either way, the place to begin is A.G. Hines Company, right in downtown Knoxville. 101 years of proven quality with better materials and better pricing than the big national chains. They will take care of you. They'll treat you like a neighbor. I promise you that. A.G. Hines Company. Look them up, aghines.com, Hines Street, downtown Knoxville. All right, let's welcome in the next member of our panel, and we got one more waiting in the wings. Chuck Cavaleris, longtime sports writer, longtime member of this panel. Chuck, thanks for being here.
It's great to be here, John.
All right. Back on January 29th, Tennessee scored 51 points in a one-point loss at Texas. That's when I completely jumped off the bus. The next day I came out here and said they don't have the offense to make any kind of run. This team's not going to go anywhere in the tournament. And that's, of course, when they turned it around and went 9-1 from that stretch. Had I not said that and finally gotten off the bus, probably would have finished 5-5. But Isaiah, we asked that day, the panel, how the Tennessee Vols would finish in their last 10 games. It was pretty much a wave of 6-4s and 5-5s, except for Isaiah, who said, well, I would say 8-2, but I'd get slaughtered, so I'm going to go 7-3. And I just want to say, why were you so negative?
I know, right?
They went 9-1.
Yeah, the biggest problem about it is I was wrong, but it was a good problem because I was wrong, and they
wrong.
won more. Yeah,
that's impressive.
I just liked what I saw in that comeback. I liked the fight. I liked the camaraderie. They were together. They didn't quit, and we used a couple of players that usually didn't play much. I think. It was a couple of guys that didn't usually play that played to help us come back, so that was good too. And then I knew that Coach Barnes would play maybe a little faster. I mean, of course, we won't be a pressing team now, but he'd do it more and play a smaller lineup more. And I think he's been doing that, and I think that the team's responded well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a game where he did crank up the pressure a little bit, and it benefited them in their comeback. Let me show some numbers here. Thought this was interesting, how that was a turnaround game. Up to and including the Texas game, the Vols were 14-6. They had scored under 70 points in 10 of their 20 games. Since then, they finished 9-1, and they scored under 70 points just twice in their last 10 games. Mark, what was the single biggest reason for the turnaround? What changed after the Texas game?
Josiah Jordan-James, in my eyes. I mean, his offensive production has been much higher. I mean, he's shooting over 50% just the last 5 games from 3. He's finishing, making pull-around jump shots. He's getting to the rim a little bit more. I mean, I think he's the biggest difference. You know, it just opens up the court for your guys to be able to drive it. He's so good defensively and being able to switch and rebound his position. He was for a while there a major hole in their offense, and kudos to him, man. He stayed the course, and he stepped up big time.
It's across the board, right? I mean, there was that key stretch yesterday where he makes the baseline jumper and kind of falls down, gets knocked down. He hustles back and takes the charge. I mean, that's a pretty good sequence there, and it takes the pressure off some of your other players. And what he does defensively, rebounding, and I guess he shook off the ligament injury. They'd mentioned that yesterday to his thumb, that we knew his shot was off. It was like he was shot putting it almost. So it's just good to see him playing the way he's capable.
You also started to see more of the 4-guard lineup.
Right.
Down those last 10 games, which I think was a big change as well. Chuck and Jimmy, after the Texas game, we came out here that Sunday morning, and I said, when I was down on them, was this team built for a deep tournament run? I said, do they have the point guard play? Because that Texas game, you said, they weren't playing Chandler because he wasn't one of the hot guys getting them back. I said, your star point guard's not on the floor there at the end. Is that a concern? Do you have the point guard play to make this kind of a run? Jimmy Dykes said yesterday on the broadcast, he said, 6 weeks ago, I doubted that Tennessee had the point guard play to make it to New Orleans in the Final Four. He said that question has now been answered. They do. Jimmy, Chuck, do you agree? Do they have the point guard play to make a Final Four run?
I'm torn on that one a little bit, and here's why. Your point guard needs to be able to make free throws in the clutch moments. And Kennedy Chandler's completely lost his confidence in that regard. Heck, he almost shot 2 air balls on free throws. He was 0 for 3. He looked comfortable from three-point range, and he looked uncomfortable at the foul line. And I know this is going to sound bad, and I'm not meaning to pick on him. I don't think Zykeia Ziegler has played that well since the tragedy with his family. I think it was obvious. In the next game that Rick Barnes pointed out, I thought he made some mistakes yesterday too. And so I'm more concerned about the point guards based on the fact that Chandler can't make a free throw, and Ziegler, to me, has regressed a little bit. Will he get that back? Maybe. But I'm not quite on the Jimmy Dykes bandwagon.
Chuck?
Pretty much in the same camp as Jimmy, and I'll tell you why. Tennessee's never been past the Elite Eight, correct? So all of a sudden, you're going to have two freshman point guard take you to the Final Four. To me, a lot of it is matchup because length is going to give smaller point guards problems. And also the scoring laws, and I think the point guards are a part of that. That's one thing that troubles me a lot as well.
All right, got to be quick. Mark and Isaiah, do they have the point guard play to make a run to New Orleans?
I think so. I think we got 3 point guards. I think Vescovi's a point guard, and he can shoot free throws. And I don't think it has to be the same person every night, especially in the tournament. One night is his night, one night is another guy's night. It's just a matter of nobody forcing it when it's not their night, which you don't really see on this team, and then somebody else stepping up, which somebody else has been stepping up every game. So I think we got it.
I think with Ziegler's toughness added in the mix, I think all those things that you mentioned, kind of point guard by committee, they can make a deep run. Final Four, I mean, let's not
Yeah.
get too
I'm
ahead
just
of
using
no,
what
I know,
Dykes
I know,
said.
but
Yeah.
I'm just saying the Final Four is lofty, but I do think they can make a run with this lineup with these freshman point guards.
Very good. All right, let's take a look at the latest NCAA projections when we come back. There was a little movement today. One of the guys changed where he had Tennessee locked in. We'll also take a look at the SEC tournament bracket, and we'll ask who in the SEC of the top 4 teams has the best resume going into the tournament, because I don't necessarily think it's the team that's going to get a #1 seed. Come on back on the Sports Source.